Hello everyone, this is Sergio coming at you from Patio Frutal. Today we're going to show you what's going on over here. The yard has come alive, and the yard has come alive, and there's so much going on over here that I just got to show you. All these plants are now in their bloom stage, and I wanted to show this so you can see what's blooming in the yard. These are giant Asian pears, all tied down, ready to keep growing and producing some beautiful blooms and fruits. And we're just gonna. This is the giant Asian pear, and this is the Hasui Asian pear. So we got two Asian pears, so they can do themselves some cross-pollination. And we're gonna go through the backyard. I'm gonna show you what's blooming back here. So this is a cherry. It's starting to bloom right now. There's many plants that are not blooming yet, like apples. They're like bare sticks right now. There's nothing going on. So as you see, the cherry is loaded with flower buds. There's only a few opening. Temperatures here in New England haven't got past 70 degrees yet. As it is right now, it's 50 degrees. So spring is very slow this year. Hasn't warmed up much at all. And here we have pawpaws. That's called NC1 variety here. And it's loaded with flower buds. This is the first time that this plant will produce. And this one has been on the ground for about 8 years. You see the beautiful blooms? I mean, not blooms, those are flower buds. And they're not gonna open yet. The flowers will open up way first before the leaves. And they'll be pollinated by flies, because the flower is not aromatic. So usually flies that do the cross-pollination, but I do it by hand. I'm going to show you here. This is the mango pawpaw, and this is super loaded with flower buds. This is the third year that it flowers. So I'm very excited. And back here we have native blueberries bushes. As you know, I used to have bees. I used to have my beehives, but I became allergic to the bee stings. So I have to stop having the bees in the yard, because I just passed out every time I got stung. After many years of being stung, nothing happened, so I don't know what happened there. Maybe it's age. And this one here, this little plant is only 5 feet tall, and this is a native plums, Prunus native plum, and last year produced about 5 or 6 flowers. It's been on the ground. This is going to be the third year that it's on the ground. You buy these plants and they come very little. This one came about foot and a half, yeah. So because it's a native plum, I'm not expecting to see huge plums. This is probably going to be tiny plums, and that's why I bought it, because I like to have native plants in the yard. To remind people that a lot of the fruits that they have, they're hybrids, and they're being manipulated. But you gotta have fruits. So this one over here, it's been on the ground for the same period as the native plum, but it hasn't produced yet, and there's no flower blooms in it. This is a sweetheart apricot, and it's a standard. That's why it's bigger than the other one. This is about 8 feet. But right now, what I'm gonna do with this plant, because it's a young plant, I'm gonna bend it down and tie it like that, so it grows in that direction. I don't want it to be a tall plant. So we're gonna work on it. What's not in bloom here too is a persimmon. Persimmons are barely having leaf buds coming up, but nothing yet. So we're gonna keep on moving. You see my other cherries here. It's producing flowers. This is a sweet cherry. That's what it's called. It has some flowers too. And that's another sweet cherry. And these are the apple. They're not producing anything. And look at the apple. They have some. This apple, this is the golden delicious. Has some flowers, buds in there, but they're not open yet. So let's keep on going. So we're gonna show you the Saturn. Let's see what this is. This is a peach called Flat Wonderful, and this plant is standard, so that means it's going to grow a lot. And because it does grow a lot, this spring I had to trim it down quite a bit. Look, I put it to 4.5 feet high up here, because it was just shooting up and it was shading my other fruit trees, and I didn't need that. So over here we have another different variety of the flat peach. This is called the Saturn peach, and this is a dwarf plant, and she's beautiful. She's barely 4 feet tall, and for the last 2 spring she had flowers, but the peaches ended up falling off. So this year she should have good cross pollination from that Flat Wonderful, and this is the Saturn peach. They're both flat peach. If you ever see this in the stores, buy it just to taste. I mean, they're kind of expensive, but the flavor is so delicious, and they're crunchy. And when if you like them before they're fully ripe, but they are delicious. They're definitely delicious. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna see this. This is a Burbank elephant heart. This is a plum, and this is a dwarf. I want you to take notice of how this is all tied down, because it is a dwarf plum, but I want it to be low. I don't want it to be 10 feet tall. So this is the main branch here. As you see, it's already, if I let it go from there, it's not gonna go up, but I needed these other branches that were heading up to stay low. So you gotta do that when they're young. That way you have a trained tree. So we're gonna keep on moving. Now, I want you to see the bloom in this Japanese Shiro plum. It's a yellow plum, and it's delicious. It's explosive when you put them in your mouth. It pops like no other plum. But we'll see what happens. It's called a Shiro plum, and it's delicious. So we're gonna keep on moving to more other flowering bushes, plants. And well, those are flowers, so those don't count in this video. But we're gonna come to this nectarine. This nectarine is in full bloom. Beautiful pink, almost look like a peach, but it's not. They are in the same family. Some kind of hybridation there. This is the crimson gold nectarine, and this one has been on the ground for around 8 years. Yes. We'll see how it goes. This is a pear tree, and I did a lot of trimming because right now she's at about 10 feet tall, but she had branches that were way out there, maybe 20 feet tall. So those back here, I'll show you the wood. That is the wood that I have to trim down from that tree. And yeah, that's over 10 feet in height in those woods. So it was quite high. I didn't need that high. So some trimming had to be done. Now you see the apple here. They have nothing on. They look bare. So we're gonna keep going. This is another nectarine. It is in bloom, yeah, but I guess they're waiting for the sun to really open up. But they're just barely opening right now, and they can do some cross-pollination with the other nectarine. Not a plum, it's a nectarine. with the other nectarine that we just saw. And this is a sun glow nectarine. Beautiful tree. Now we come to the back here and we have peaches. And this is one of my peaches that it grew too tall, but I just leave it because it doesn't have a lot of branches for me to be cutting it. So I just have to do some catching when they ripen up. So we see more peach back there, and let's get in here, show some more plants. This is another type of peach. That's a seedling that grew up from a seed from this other peach tree here. So that's a seedling there, and it produced beautiful fruit. Beautiful. So we're gonna move to this other pear tree here, and see how I have it all still all tied up, because there were branches here growing like you wouldn't believe. But something have to be done, and it was done. Now I see the tag on the floor here. And this, show you the tag, costs $45, and it's a kaffir pear. This pear is the same as the other pear tree that I just showed you a little earlier, and it's a very hard pear, crunchy. It's delicious. It's very tangy, but it's delicious. I love it, and it lasts for a long time. You can refrigerate this for months. They'll still be good for you. So I'm gonna keep going here. We have another one. This one is producing for the first time, and hopefully it will produce for the first time. Last year was the first time that it produced that had any flowers. Well, last year was a bad year for plums because we have a late frost, and that really messed up the way they develop. So we didn't get much plum last year. But this year, we'll see how it goes. And this one here, this one also had a heavy pruning. This is my oldest plum. This one is about, I'd say about over 25 years old. It's an old tree. I had to trim it pretty hard because it was getting too tall. I hope you can see the flowers there. It's getting kind of hard to see with the brightness of where the sun comes up. So now that plum tree, back then I never saved the tag, so I don't know the name of that tree, but the fruit is the most aromatic that you will have in the plums. I never seen a field of plum that is as automatic as that one. And over here we have a Ozark Premier plum, and this one flower earlier than any other plums in the yard. So if it doesn't get any plum, it's because it didn't get cross-pollinated, because this is the only two plums around and they are just barely starting to flower. And this is already done. As you can see the colorations in the flower. They're already done, so hopefully they get cross-pollination from somewhere. Although I see down here they have some fresh flowers, and those are late. So we'll see how that goes, all right? So we go here. We got a peach tree that is, last year was a good producer. This one here, this is a giant peaches. Supposed to go up to 12 to 16 ounces. Last year was the first year that it produces, and they were good size, but there were no 12 ounces. So we'll see how they develop. Hopefully they'll be a good size peaches like they promote. All right, so that's it for fruit trees that have flowers. I have a lot of other fruit trees, but they got no flowers, so I'm not going to show you those. There you go, guys, from Patio Frutal. Hope you're having a beautiful spring day, and have a good evening.